Hey everyone, and welcome to another Explainer, where we take complex ideas and distill them down to exactly what you need to know. So today, we're exploring something I find absolutely fascinating: the architecture of choice and certainty. We spend so much of our lives stressing over the unknown, right? We're constantly analyzing risks, trying to predict the future, but what happens when the future is literally guaranteed? Well, let's find out.
So I've got a question for you. Is a decision actually easy if you already know exactly what the outcome is going to be? Intuitively, we kind of just want to shout yes, obviously. I mean, if I handed you a crystal ball right now and guaranteed the exact result of your action, all that stress of decision-making should just vanish, shouldn't it? Well, as we're going to see as we unpack the material today, the reality is way more intricate than that. Certainty definitely doesn't eliminate the complex mental gymnastics we go through to make a choice.
In decision theory, decision-making under certainty is officially defined as making a choice when there is no doubt as to which outcomes will result from a given act. Now, I really want to pause on those two words, no doubt. You know exactly what happens next, zero surprises. And yet, even in this pristine, totally transparent environment, human choices are surprisingly messy. We're just not perfectly logical robots, even when the data right in front of us is absolute.
Okay, so there are 8 specific concepts governing certainty. Let's dive right in and see how we navigate this intricate framework, rather than just making a blind pick.
To make this super easy to digest, we can map this out into 3 steps. Step 1 is establishing preferences and choices. Step 2 is navigating costs. And Step 3 is accounting for effects and biases.
Starting us off, let's look at Phase 1, preferences and choices.
Before we do anything else, we have to establish the foundation here, our preferences and choices. Look, if there's no doubt about the outcome, it's kind of like picking your favorite meal from a menu. Your very first step is clearly identifying what you actually prefer among the options on the table. You simply can't make a decision, even a 100% guaranteed one, without these 2 pillars. They're basically the bedrock of this entire architectural structure we're looking at today.
But simply knowing what you like isn't the whole story. Let's move on to Phase 2, the hidden costs.
Because here's the thing, even with a totally guaranteed outcome, there's always a structural toll to pay. First up is the opportunity cost, which is the value of the alternative you literally have to give up to make your choice. And second is the sunk cost, meaning the time or money you've already invested that you're never getting back. Certainty doesn't magically erase the past, right? Choosing one single path always means abandoning another. So you're still paying those hidden structural costs no matter what. And finally, we get to the trickiest part. Phase 3, cognitive effects and biases.
Fundamentally, you guys, our brains are pretty easily manipulated. Even with zero doubt about an outcome, we get influenced by decoy effects. We're throwing in a really ugly third option, suddenly makes a primary option look fantastic. We also suffer from loss aversion. We feel the pain of losing something twice as intensely as the joy of actually gaining it. Then there's the endowment effect, which makes us overvalue stuff just because it belongs to us. Oh, and we constantly get tripped up by the anchoring adjustment, where we rely way too heavily on the very first piece of information we hear. Our psychology is actively fighting against pure logic here, even when the results are a sure thing.
So, to truly master choice under certainty, all 8 of these pieces have to come together. You've got to lock in those foundations of preferences and choices, balance out the harsh mathematical reality of opportunity and sunk costs, and somehow figure out how to navigate a psychological minefield of decoys and anchors. It's a highly structured, multidimensional process.
Which really brings us full circle. Decision-making when there is no doubt as to which outcomes will result. Man, it sounds incredibly simple and peaceful when you say it like that, doesn't it? But when you contrast it with the incredibly complex web of biases and costs we just walked through, it turns out no doubt definitely does not mean no difficulty.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If our decisions are so heavily burdened by sunk costs, anchoring adjustments, and decoy effects, even when we have a crystal clear, guaranteed view of the future, we kind of have to ask ourselves, even with 100% certainty, are your choices truly your own, or are they just the inevitable result of this underlying cognitive architecture? Keep that in mind the next time you're faced with the sure thing. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the structures behind your everyday decisions.